20 best holiday cookie baking equipment and gear. We are including products with recommend voting. It's help to buy perfect product. Thanks for checking out my channel. Make sure to subscribe. 1. Baking sheets. Baking sheets are the bricks that form the foundation of countless cooking projects. Whether you're roasting veggies or churning out batch after batch of holiday cookies. So it's worth spending an extra few pennies to invest in ones that are generously sized, well made, and super durable. Among the experts we surveyed, and in our own test kitchens, commercial grade rimmed half-sheet pans, like Nordiquare's Americolor grade aluminium half-sheet or this super affordable model from Web Restaurant Supply, are the gold standard. They fit our ovens perfectly and never, ever buckle. Buy them by the half dozen, you can never have too many. And while you're at it, pick up a few quarter-sheet pans, too. They're handy for corralling mise en place and all manner of smaller projects. 2. KitchenAid Artisan Series 5-quart tilt head stand mixer. A good stand mixer will make your baking and cooking life a lot easier. If you bake a lot and have been struggling with a low-grade mixer or a hand mixer, you might want to upgrade. A well-made stand mixer can produce loaves of rustic bread or moist cake layers, it can make quick work of whipping egg whites into meringue, and it can churn out dozens upon dozens of holiday cookies. We believe that the KitchenAid Artisan is the best mixer for the home baker who's looking for an equipment upgrade. We've covered mixers since 2013, and after using them to make cookies, cakes, and bread for our guide to the best stand mixers, we can definitively say that the brand that rolled out the first tabletop mixer in 1919 is still the best. We've used this mixer in our test kitchen for years, proving that sometimes you really can't beat a classic. 3. Breville Handy Mix Scraper. That said, stand mixers weigh quite a bit, they have a large footprint on your countertop, and a quality machine costs hundreds of dollars. If you need a mixer for making only a few batches of cookies a year, on whipping egg whites for souffles, you can probably get by with a hand mixer. And after spending over 20 hours researching and testing for our guide to the best hand mixers, we recommend the Breville Handy Mix Scraper. It churns through dense cookie doughs and quickly whips delicate batters and pillowy meringues, and comes with more useful attachments and features that cheaper mixers lack. 4. Cuisinart Stainless Steel Mixing Bowls with Lids. Most cookie recipes are simple enough that you'll mostly be able to rely on the bowl of your stand mixer, but you'll usually need at least one extra bowl to mix your dry ingredients. Plus, if you're mixing a bunch of different colors of icing, a good set of mixing bowls can come in handy. You can find a lot of fancy bowls out there with handles and pour spouts and rubberized bottoms, but after years of baking experience and time spent consulting with the experts, we think you still can't beat the basics. Plastic bowls are out of the question because they stain easily and can't handle high heat, and silicone bowls lack sturdiness and can harbor smells. Ceramic bowls are heavy and the rims chip easily. So you have two ways to go: stainless steel or glass. Each has its advantages. 5. Escali Primo Digital Scale. Most professional bakers swear by the kitchen scale. The delicate alchemy of baking relies on precision, and cups, which measure only by volume, can be wildly inaccurate. According to Alton Brown, 1 cup of flour can equal anywhere from 4 to 6 ounces, depending on who measures it and on factors like relative humidity. A scale can mean the difference between light, buttery cookies and dense, floury ones. Plus, you can measure all your ingredients right into the bowl, which means fewer dishes to clean. Converting recipes from cups to grams is an extra step, but if you keep a chart with the standard weights of your baking ingredients on hand, it shouldn't take long. Alice Medrich, who recently made the case for baking with a scale in the Washington Post, noted that a scale also comes in handy if you don't have a cookie scoop but want to make your drop cookies exactly the same size, which ensures that they bake evenly. 6. KitchenMade Stainless Steel Measuring Cups. Die-hard bakers know that using a scale is a far more accurate measuring method for dry ingredients. Measuring with cups, which rely on volume and don't take density into account, is an approximation at best. But until American recipe writers abandon the imprecise convention of the cup, most home bakers will want measuring cups in their toolbox. If you currently don't own a glass liquid measuring cup and a set of metal dry cups, you should invest in both. Liquids level themselves, so measuring against a fixed line on a clear container works best. Flour and other dry ingredients mount, and generally you measure them using a dip and sweep method, so cups with flat trims work best for scooping and leveling. 7. OXXO Good Grips 11-inch Balloon Whisk. Whisks come in all shapes and sizes: big balloon whisks for whipping cream, long narrow ones for cooking custards, teeny tiny ones for frothing the milk in your coffee. All the experts we interviewed keep at least a few different ones on hand, and Alice Medrich declared that for anyone who bakes, it's important to have different sized whisks. For making cookies, however, you won't be using such a tool for much more than whisking dry ingredients or making icing, so a narrow, medium-size whisk will do. All of our experts emphasized that, as Matt Lewis put it, simpler is better. Whisks shaped like tornadoes or with metal balls rattling around inside the wires don't perform any better than the simple, sturdy teardrop-shaped models. 8. GIR Spatula. For baking cookies, a good, sturdy silicone spatula is essential. It should be stiff and thick enough to press dough together but flexible enough to scrape down the sides of a bowl with ease. Silicone is the material of choice over old-fashioned rubber spatulas because it's food safe, heat-proof, and non-stick, so you can use it for melting butter or chocolate as well as for mixing, and sticky doughs slide right off, plus, you can throw it into the dishwasher. In our guide to the best spatulas, we found the GIR Spatula to be the best of the silicone bunch. It's a single piece of silicone, a design that we preferred to competitors with a wooden handle and a detachable head. As a result, it goes into the dishwasher easily, and grime has no chance to get lodged in nooks and crannies. The small head is slim enough to fit into a peanut butter jar but comfortable and quick to use in a curved pot, with parallel edges that can scrape down the straight sides of a sauté pan. Though the tip is thick enough to give the spatula heft for pressing down doughs, it's also flexible enough to glide smoothly and cleanly around the edges of a batter bowl. 9. Cuisinart set of 3 mesh strainers. The sturdiest set on the market could be the all-clad 3-piece stainless steel strainer set, which baked owner Matt Lewis told us has stood the test of time, even in the kitchens of his high-volume bakery. But at $100 currently, that set is also a real investment. If you aren't planning to run your strainers through the wringer, you may want to consider the Cuisinart set of 3 mesh strainers. Of the 5 strainer models we considered based on recommendations from our 4 experts plus reviews on Cooks Illustrated, Real Simple, and Amazon, the Cuisinart offering was the most affordable option to come in a set, which 3 of our experts thought was a must. It's a much better deal than the all-clad set, and though none of our experts specifically mentioned it, this set is currently well reviewed on Amazon. 10. OXXO Good Grips Stainless Steel Multi-Purpose Scraper and Chopper. You'll find a bench scraper in every professional kitchen. They're good for everything from trimming rolled out dough to scooping up chopped nuts to cutting butter into flour for pie crust, or even just for scraping a surface clean. For home baking and cooking in general, a bench scraper might turn out to be the everyday tool you never knew you needed. When you're baking cookies, a bench scraper can come in handy for all of the above tasks. Plus it's perfect for picking up cut-out cookies and transferring them to a baking sheet. Rose Levy Berenbaum also points out that you can use it to push icing down to the tip of your piping bag, by laying the bag down and gently scraping down from the outside, being careful not to tear the bag. 11. Ateco Flat Pastry Brush. While a pastry brush is not necessary for cookie baking, it can be useful for at least a couple of tasks. For instance, when you roll out cookies, a brush is handy for sweeping off excess flour so you don't end up with a mouthful of it after you bake the cookies. Brushing cookies with an egg wash before baking will help sprinkles stick, and a brush can also help you coat baked cookies in a thin sugar glaze, like the one on these maple pecan cookies. Old-fashioned boar bristle brushes usually do a better job of holding liquid, and they're better at delicate tasks like brushing away crumbs or flour. On the other hand, silicone pastry brushes are easier to clean, heat-proof, and designed not to shed bristles on your cookies. We looked at recommendations for both types from our experts and other sources. 12. Ateco Stainless Steel Christmas Cookie Cutters. It can be easy to get overwhelmed by all the cookie cutter options out there. You'll even find multiple websites selling nothing but cookie cutters. But whether you're trying to kickstart a collection or you want to have just a few on hand for the holidays, buying a set of cookie cutters is easier than sorting through a dizzying variety of individual ones. For holiday baking, we like Ateco's range of stainless steel cookie cutters, either the Ateco Stainless Steel Christmas Cookie Cutters or the 5-piece Stainless Steel Snowflake Cutter set. The shapes are clear and elegant. Of all the cutters we tested, the Ateco pieces offered the sturdiest construction and cut the cleanest cookies. 13. Noprogrip is 2 tablespoon stainless scoop. A cookie scoop can be a game changer if you're used to portioning out drop cookies, like chocolate chip or oatmeal by hand. Also called a disher or a portion scoop, a cookie scoop is essentially a very small ice cream scoop, specifically the kind that sweeps the contents out with a squeeze of the handle, though we don't actually recommend using that kind of scoop for ice cream. The best ones turn out perfectly rounded domes of cookie dough with ease, and they help to ensure that all your cookies are exactly the same size. Besides making cookies, They're also great for portioning out batter for muffins or cupcakes. Cookie scoops vary a lot in quality. It's important to invest in a good, sturdy one, or else you'll quickly run into more frustration and mess than you would by shaping cookies by hand. Of the 5 scoops we tested, the Noprogrip S2 tablespoon stainless scoop was the strongest and the most comfortable to hold, and it released the dough more cleanly than any other. 14. Beyond Gourmet Unbleached Parchment Paper. By far the best and easiest way to keep your cookies from sticking to the pan is to line it with a simple sheet of parchment paper, especially during a big baking project. Non-stick Sil-Pate baking mats get a lot of hype, and they're excellent for certain projects, especially sticky ones like toffee. But they're expensive, and chances are, you wouldn't want to buy more than 1 or 2, which means that baking multiple sheets of cookies would take a long time, as you'd have to wait for each batch to cool enough so you can lift the cookies off the Sil-Pate and put new cookies on. With parchment, however, you can just slide the whole sheet off, cookies and all, right onto a cooling rack. Alice Medrich mentioned that Sil-Pates tend to leave the bottoms of cookies unbrowned and undercooked. The company notes on its website that baking on Sil-Pates produces flatter cookies because the dough slides effortlessly across the surface. Depending on how you like your cookies, this result might be a good thing or a bad thing. 15. Ateco, number 1385, Natural Wood Small-Sized Spatula. For decorating cookies, a small offset spatula can come in handy, and it won't cost you much. Such a tool is designed for bakers who want to add polish to their frosted cakes or to spread thick batters into the corners of pans. Its shape makes it much more adept than a butter knife at spreading frosting or chocolate evenly over a cookie. But it's also a good multitasker, and it does a great job of getting things off a cookie sheet. As the kitchen's Emma Christensen explains, whenever we need to handle hot foods gently, this spatula becomes an extension of our hands and fingers. When you're not baking cookies, you can use it to slather your sandwiches with mustard and mayonnaise. And real simple praises the Ateco small offset spatula, writing, "Try it once and you'll call it indispensable." 16. Ateco 18-inch soft disposable pastry bag. For professional quality cookie decorations, piping bags and a set of tips are good to have on hand. They'll help you draw smooth, precise lines with royal frosting or chocolate, and using them is the only way to achieve the level of detail, with some practice, that bakers like Gail Dosick of One Tough Cookie do on their sugar cookies. Sure, you can snip the corner off a Ziploc bag, or, if you have the patience and the know-how, fold a bag out of a piece of parchment. This is what Alice Medrich does, but Ziploc bags aren't strong enough to withstand a lot of pressure, and neither of these DIY bags can handle pastry tips. 17. Daymark Piping Bell Disposable Pastry Bag with Dispenser. Should you decide to take the plunge, 100 packs of pastry bags are definitely a better deal. Our favorite, the Daymark Piping Bell Disposable Pastry Bag with Dispenser, currently costs about $15 for the 18-inch or 12-inch size, only 3 times as much as the 10-pack of 18-inch Ateco bags. Although Ateco also sells bags in quantities of 100, finding them for as good of a price is difficult, and they don't come on a roll in a dispenser box like the Daymark bags do. pastry bags can be a pain to store, and if you don't have them on an ice roll, you'll have to find a bag or box to stuff them into, otherwise they're liable to end up crumpled in a drawer. The Daymark bags are especially sturdy, too, and their outer surface is even tackier than that of the Ateco bags. 18. Ateco 14-piece cake decorating set. You can simply cut the tip off a pastry bag, if it's disposable, to pipe a line of whatever width you desire, but if you want to pipe anything besides a straight line, or even if you just want to pipe around a cleaner line, you should get a basic set of piping tips. These pieces allow you to make stars, rosettes, leaves, and basket weaves, though more successfully with a thick frosting like buttercream than with thin, runny royal icing. You can insert tips directly into a piping bag with the tip cut off, but the best sets come with a plastic coupler that, once inserted into the bag, allows you to screw on piping tips from the outside so that you can swap them easily without needing to dump out the icing. 19. Americolor Student Soft Gel Paste Food Color. Food coloring can make cookie decorating more fun, especially for kids, and more elaborate. But you can find much better options than the watery liquid McCormick sets available in most grocery stores. The best, Americolor Student Soft Gel Paste Food Color, not only offers way more color options than the basic red, yellow, green, and blue, but also comes in a much more concentrated formula than liquid coloring. As a result, it lasts longer and produces more vibrant hues. In our tests its colors were the truest of all we tried, and it comes in a squeeze bottle that makes for minimal mess. 20. CIA Masters Collection Cooling Rack. A cooling rack will help your cookies cool quickly and efficiently, so you can start decorating sooner. It's also great if you're drizzling your cookies with glaze or dipping them in chocolate, because the excess can drip off without pooling around the base of the cookie. Cheap, flimsy racks are common, but if you don't have a rack already, you'll find that a sturdy, oven-safe one has many uses beyond cooling baked goods, including cooking bacon in the oven or even making whole roasts. After testing several cooking racks for our guide to the best brunch elements, we concluded that the 12 by 17-inch CIA Masters Collection cooling rack has just about everything we look for. It's one of the few we've found that's oven-safe and designed to fit well in a half-sheet baking pan. It's sturdier than other racks we've looked at, and its tight grid pattern, as opposed to parallel wires, won't let cookies bend or fall through. Thanks for watching. You can find links, price and description to these products in the description box. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.